me as someone friend person don't know say Nice for the continent pass and I represent Kingmixup. Baddest when it come on to entertainment news. Don't miss a beat. Make sure you stay tuned.
Okay, boom, viewers, welcome back to the channel. Subscribers, you already know the thing set. We're blessed. Hope you're on a wonderful day today, but you know my style. One bagger and the one I gotta continue getting them daily updates on the people you see and don't see on the screen. That's why it's extremely important to watch it end so you don't miss a thing. And with that being said, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. People putting out a comment section, was this a good idea of Spice? Letting this man come on her live, and say these allegations against RT Boss. You see, some people without no concrete information, you know what I mean? And I will give you my point of view at the end of this video. But just keep that in mind while you listen to this story. You see,
Throughout that time, me and my mom and him got like close because he was basically doing what he, claimed he do, like spiritually leading her. So the first incident that happened, we had went to Miami, but we had drove there. At the time, me and my mom, we couldn't fly there or fly back because of like personal reasons. With that being said, the person that drove us down there to drive us back, they basically started saying their car was acting up, so we were stuck down there. So at the time, she was cool with him and she was explaining the story of how we were stuck down there. So he offered to come pick us up. He came in this, I think it was an SUV. It was like one of them eight seater trucks. It was me, my mom, my sister, my best friend, and my sister's father. And he had came along with somebody else. Throughout the trip, like each time that we would stop, if I was sitting like in the back seat, he would come in the back seat. If the next time, hello,
You're freezing up. Yeah, you froze up a while ago.
sorry about that. What was the last thing?
You
What was the last
said
thing?
you were driving, you were on a trip. Every time you go in the back seat, you also come in
So
the back seat.
each time where I switched seats, he would switch seats too. Um, one of the time we stopped at the gas station, he basically came in and he did it to me and my best friend, to where it's like he pulled me to the side and was like, "I'm feeling something in your spirit," and I was just like, "No, what are you talking about?" Then he was basically proceeded to say, "I know you're gay, and I know you don't want your family to know." At the time, I was like in the closet. I feel like everybody that has Caribbean parents know how it is coming out to Caribbean parents. So that was one of my biggest fears growing up. Like, with that being said, halfway through the trip, when the trip was finishing, I fell asleep and I woke up and
So
like his hands.
how old were you? How old were you at that time?
I was around 17.
17.
I was around like 17.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know how to
so then I woke
turn.
up.
They're telling me to turn off the comments, but I don't know how to. How do I turn off the comments, guys?
I'm not
This is
sure.
let me see question, no question. How do I turn the comments off? This I request
Honestly,
to go.
the comments is not bothering me because
Okay.
this is something that, like, if I wanted to speak about this, I could have spoke about this before when it happened. I would have never waited years. My mother just found out 2 years ago. This
Right.
happened in 2017.
Yeah.
So after that incident happened, I woke up and I seen his hands on me. It was kind of, I pushed him away, and it was like I stayed to myself the rest of the ride.
So just to
And
be clear, you're saying he knew that he knew what you were,
right,
and him come and try use
correct,
against you. So at the
yeah,
time he knew, but your family did not know.
correct. With that being said, after that trip, I think we stopped at his house in Delaware, where I think we met his wife or whatever the case is. That day, he went about his way. We went back home, or whatever the case is. A couple months later, almost a year,
They said
um,
that you should clear it up. Were you 17 or 16? Because they heard at the time when you met him, you were 16.
I was turning 17.
Okay.
So with that being said, and I said 2016 is when I met him and when I went on the trip.
Right.
The whole incident to where everything happened, it happened later on in 2017 because we seen him again. My
Yeah.
mom was cool
So
with
he
him.
molested you in 2017, but you met him in
Correct.
2016. But you're getting there to the story. We just want to
Correct.
clear that up.
Right. I'm just trying to explain
How
the little
everything
things that
happened.
happened that led there.
Okay.
Um, with that being said, there was an incident to where me and my mom, we fell out and we was talking for like 6 months. One day I got called over to my mom's house because my mom was, we lived at two separate houses. Like if you know, well, most people that know where I'm from in Brooklyn, where my family stayed at. So I got called over there. He was there. My mom was there. My best friend, a tattoo artist, was there. We was all getting tattoos. I didn't get one or whatever case. That's the same time my best friend got a tattoo. My mom got a tattoo. With that being said, the night was getting low, and at the time, I guess he wasn't gonna drive back to Maryland or wherever he was staying at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So he was trying to find a hotel. With that being said, my mom asked me, which at the time she didn't know how I felt towards him, because after that first incident, I tried to make sure like I always stayed far. I ended up having to basically show him where the hotel was, or drive with him to go to the hotel, and he was supposed to basically Uber me back home. We went. We live in Brooklyn, past the hotel in Brooklyn, and we ended up at a hotel in Queens. With that being said, when I got him to the hotel, I was like, okay, so am I going back home now? And he was like, no. As far as like the in between conversations, like it wasn't much of it because it was nerve wracking. It was like, I was told to drop you here. Me knowing how it was or whatever the case is, I necessarily didn't want to be around this dude at all. What made everything kind of transpire is because he told me that he was going to tell my family about me being gay. And for me and my family, that would have probably been the biggest like falling out. It would have been a whole issue. And at the time, I'm 17. I have nowhere to stay for my own, or whatever the case is. With that being said, one thing led to the next, to where it's like I wasn't able to leave or get home until I did what he told me to do. Even straight
So when
down
you
to
got
it,
to the
like,
to the hotel, you said you weren't able to leave.
yeah, like we was in Queens at the time. Like my mom, she had gave him money because she was giving him money as well. So I was the one that had the funds on me.
So your mom gave him the money.
Correct. And I'm gonna just point out, like my mom, like at the time, still at that time, she didn't know anything that was happening. So one thing led to the next, to the point where it's like he did what he did, and I don't really, I don't know why people would think that I'm lying, because for me to sit here and make up such a drastic story is ridiculous.
What did he do
Even
to
to the
you?
point,
You say he did what he did, but please tell the world what he did to you.
so he raped me, like he molested me. Like it was to the point where it's like even before he started it, he was trying to find a condom and couldn't find one, and he reached for a plastic bag. Um,
What?
I don't get how y'all can
What?
sit here and say shit like that. Like, first of all, my mom didn't know what was happening. My mom found out. First of all, my mom didn't even know I was gay. My mom didn't find out that I was gay until years after the
God have
situation.
Almighty, man. God Almighty. The blood of Jesus is up against that man. May I tell you, hey, me say this is a spiritual warfare, and me I tell you, it's God above the devil, but the blood of Jesus is against that man. He held
And
you down and raped and raped you.
and there's a few things that, so what made me kind of keep quiet about it, aside from my family or whatever the case is, it was like his way of trying to keep me quiet about the situation at the time. I think after the situation, he had sent my mother money to give to me. Um, like he just went on like it wasn't an issue. He was texting me, still trying to talk to me or whatever the case is. And it was just like, for me, I was just traumatized that it happened because, yeah, I'm gay, bisexual, like, but I didn't ask for this man to do what he did.
So he knew that you were gay or bisexual, and he took that to his advantage because you came from a Jamaican
Yeah.
household. So he know you wouldn't want to talk about it.
He knew I didn't want to talk about it because when we was in that Miami trip and he pointed it out, the whole conversation that was had in that gas station was the fact that I did not want my family to know about it.
So he took
I didn't tell my
that.
mother about it until a year and a half after I came out to my mother. I came out to my mother after COVID, the end of the 2020, 21. And then I didn't speak about that situation until after. And I just spoke about it because growing up, like it was stuff to where my mom went through something like that. So when I felt comfortable enough, it was like she was the only person I could talk to about it. And I wasn't talking to her about it to sit here and go through all of this. I was talking to her to get it off my chest. See, like everybody, like if people know that my grandmother, my family that I come from, it is strict. Like certain things they don't play with.
No, I'm
So it's
from
like,
Jamaica, so I understand. People who's not from Jamaica may not understand, but a Jamaica me come from. So I understand what you mean when you're saying you come from a strict family who would probably be against, who you are.
and
So I understand and I get it. And
and I
that's
feel
why
like,
even me as a Jamaican woman who's always advocating and fighting for my fans who are gay, I'm happy you found comfort in me to want to talk to me about it.
and one of the reasons why I even choose to speak up about it now is because, like I said, I didn't want anyone to know. I wasn't ready to sit here and talk about this. When this came out, the person that called me was a family friend, and what she was speaking, it made it seem like she knew what happened. So I felt a little comfortable telling her, but I didn't know I was being recorded. I didn't know I was gonna wake up to my voice all over social media. I didn't sit here and ask for this.
You
I kept that shit to
didn't.
myself for years because I know how it is. Like people speak up, and the first thing is I'm looking in the comments. It's like, yeah, I'm gay, but that don't mean that's the right for me to be molested or
It's not.
raped by somebody. Like,
It, it's not. It didn't give him any right to rape you. And I'm so sorry you went through that as a child. I'm
and
so sorry.
my thing about it, while I'm speaking even more while I'm speaking about it now, is because with that recording that's sent out against, because I did not sit there and know that she was recording me. So with that recording and everybody coming up with their own assumptions and dragging my sister and my mother in it, and it's just like, my mother really ain't know. The same people that he just paid to go see my grandmother didn't know until yesterday. I
Wow.
begged my mother not to say nothing because I didn't want to go through this. I'm a very quiet and reserved person, and this is a lot of attention for no reason. And not for no reason, but it's just like, I refuse to sit there and have what was done to me twist and turn and chopped and screwed when that wasn't how it is. He know exactly what he did. And it's like, if he's doing it to other people, why is it so hard to believe that this is something that he did? Like, at the time, he was using my mother for money, so he kept her close. So he was making sure he was in her ear.
I want you to say that, just that one line again. He was using your mother for what?
He was using my mother for money. When she stopped sending the money, he got irritated. And that's around the same time where he was sitting there blasting and
Because
going off like,
that's what he goes around and do to people. He did the
and
same thing to me. Use you
nobody
for
can't,
money, and when
anybody
you
that know
realize
me,
that he's a liar and he's a manipulator and he's trying to use you, Then
Any
he wants to tarnish you. When he can't have his way with you, he try to tear you down.
and anybody that know me, I didn't do this. I'm not doing this for no recognition or no money. If that's the case, I would have did this when it happened. Everybody that know the family that I come from, my mother got money. My mother loaded. Same reason why he wanted to be around her. The same reason why he wanted to sit there and be close. I just don't like how it was approached because I feel like if that same person that recorded me would have just pulled me aside and called me and be like, yo, so he did this to a few other people. Like, you feel like you're ready to speak about it? Let me decide what I want to talk about. It's my pain, it's my trauma.
So you kept that pain and you didn't talk about it. It was
No.
until that the recording that
The
I
rec-
played with the person
yeah.
that
It's,
that you didn't know.
I woke up and I see the recording all over and people DMing me and this, that, and the third. And it's just like, where this coming from? And this is exactly why most people don't get up and talk about certain stuff that they go through because it's always like, you can't put a time when somebody's going to speak up on their trauma and when they was hurt, when they was put in a position where they, bro, like, and then knowing that you gay on top of it, ain't nobody gonna believe you. Ain't nobody gonna sit there. Like, it took me a time to tell my mother, and it was a process because first I had to come out and tell her that I was gay. And I
What
did
does
that
your
because I couldn't live with knowing that certain, I don't like when things are used or held above me. Like, I understand what everybody was trying to do with the recordings and stuff like that. I just felt like I should have had the space to properly be able to do this and explain what it was because I wasn't ready. This recording surfaced months ago. I've been blocking and removing people from my page because my peace is getting disrupted. I had to move. I moved from New York to Florida. When this recording came out, it was in Florida, and when I figured out somebody mentioned that he lives in Florida, where you think I'm at now? I moved. The whole point is to stay away from this man, to stay off his radar. I have him blocked on everything for a reason.
what
So it's
has
like,
your life been like after he did that to you? Why do you keep moving? Are you still afraid of him?
I mean,
Because
when I
I'm here
found
to
out
tell
he's,
you. Let me tell you something. I'm here to tell you there's nothing to be afraid of. He's a liar. He's a scammer. He ain't no fucking Obia man. Him can't do
and
nothing. He's not talking to no spirit. There's
now,
one God. Do not
now that
let him
I'm,
put no fear into you.
now that I'm
Don't let
older,
him put no fear into you.
now that I'm older,
Okay, people, obviously the live is still going and we'll upload the full video in due time, you see what I said? But like I said in the beginning, I don't think this was a good idea for Spice to allow this man to come on her life to do, tell his story, you know what I mean? You see some people, this reminds me of the 50 Cent, Rick Ross baby mother S-tape situation where 50 Cent posted this on his channel and you know he ended up in a lawsuit, you know what I mean? I'm able to talk about it now because Spice is a major figure and she put this in the social domain, you know what I mean? This is a very touchy topic as you can see. I can't talk about illegal activities unless all parties is talking about it. I know all parties is talking about it and it's going to go into the courthouse. You see what I say? A lot of people is saying, you know, Spice is only using this guy's story to get back at RT Boss because if she truly cared about victims, she would have got live with Danger. You know what I mean? At one time she believed Danger, you know, was taken advantage by her baby daddy and no, she not believe that. You see me? I say, but I'm just saying personally, Spice, should have never done that without concrete information. You see me? Like I said, you know, only say RT Boss is nothing at the end of the day. So why would you want to give nothing millions of dollars? You know, even though she's not saying his name, government name, she's saying his business name. You know what I mean? You see, some people putting out the comment section, what you think about that? You know, you just have to play smart, you know, because she didn't have to come on that live and mention him by name. You know what I mean? Everybody know who she's talking about already. You see, I'm not here to say if she's looking clout from these people or whatnot. I'm just giving you my point of view. But like I said, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Hit the notification bell to be notified when we upload the rest of that live. You see me? Bless.